Okay, we are recording. This is the Papa Podcast, and we're having another movie episode because we are lazy. We are not doing anything else because movies are just the easiest. And I'm Cameron, and this is
Nick Wildhouse. If you go to Google and you type in Alvin and the Chipmunks, one of the top drop-down things is
you didn't even
movie order.
We gotta tell them that we're doing Alvin and the Chipmunks before we go into Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I'm just saying that it's like really important for people to know the order of the live action movies. We're doing the road trip for this because we were scrolling through streaming services and it popped up and we were like, well, do you want to do Rob Schneider's The Animal or Kevin James' Zookeeper? Or wait a minute, here's Alvin and the Chipmunks Road Trip. I've never seen that.
I feel like Rob Schneider is enough like, what's his name, from Biodome? Pauly Shore. He's enough like Pauly Shore, like they're kind of similar. So I feel like, and because Kevin James has been in so many Adam Sandler movies, I feel like we really needed a change of what's the word I'm looking for?
Diaper.
No. A change of vibe, maybe, because Kevin James, you see Kevin James, you think Adam Sandler. Like, I don't know if anyone else has the same feeling I do.
No, but I think King of Queens. I think this guy is really cool.
I actually think of Hitch with
That's a great movie. We should watch that one.
Well,
review that.
Well, it's too good of a movie to review.
I know. So right now on Rotten Tomatoes, Alvin and the Chipmunks Road Trip has a 15%. Critics' consensus. In some respects, Alvin and the Chipmunks Road Trip is a marginal improvement over prior installments, although this in no way qualifies as a recommendation. So I think the ones before this were just Alvin and the Chipmunks, and then the Squeakquel, and that is this the third or the fourth one?
I don't know. There's one that's showing up that says Chipwrecked.
Chipwrecked is either 3 or 4. I don't know the order we are. Let me just pull them.
It looks like they're all rated very similarly.
At least they're consistent.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is the fourth one. So Chipwrecked was 2011. What a great year for movies. That was the same year as we just watched Jack and Jill. And Zookeeper both came out in 2011.
You know what's crazy is the image. We're literally looking at the image of the movie on the TV right now. We left the TV on while we're recording.
Yeah.
And the image that they're using for Alvin and the Chipmunks, the road trip, looks worse. Like, I don't know how. Like, shouldn't it be better than supposedly whatever animation they have in the movie? Like, because it's a still image.
It looks like AI art before AI.
It does. It looks like AI before AI.
Really bad CG. They didn't even want to do the eyes. They just gave them sunglasses.
They gave them all sunglasses. It's like somebody gave their kid like the assignment of doing like the poster for this movie. They're like, hey, we don't have any money left in the budget, so you can do the poster, kid. And the kid was like, okay. And he just typed into like some kind of AI program. Alvin and the Chipmunks on a road trip.
Road trip.
I
don't understand. So I don't really know if there's like a continuing storyline going into this because I did not watch the second or third one. I saw the first one a long time ago, but I barely remember it. I know that Jason Lee plays
Alvin's dad. John, I think, is his name.
Is it John?
John Harbuckle.
No, not John Arbuckle.
I said Harbuckle. It's different.
Dave. His name's Dave. Might as well
Close
be John.
enough. I was thinking Garfield. John.
So they go on a road trip. So Alvin, Simon, and Theodore take a riotous road trip to Miami when they think that Dave is going to propose to his girlfriend and dump them.
I like how they put riotous in there. Like, isn't this a kids movie thing? Like, why are they trying to make it more complicated with the description?
Riotous. I think kids understand that riotous.
I don't even understand what riotous means. What do you mean kids understand what riotous means?
Like a laugh riot.
No, I know what it means. I'm saying
I would have known.
If I wasn't a grown adult, I would have seen riotous and thought,
I would have known what riotous means in 2015.
Well, not everyone's a nerd like you are.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to read a review. We read some of these reviews before we even started the podcast, just because we were looking into if we would find any good reviews for the podcast. So when I read this earlier, I don't know why it made me laugh so much, but this person gave it a 10 out of 10, and the title is "Me and My Dear Son Mohammed Enjoyed Watching This Great Family Movie." And some of these reviews you kind of have to take with a pinch of salt, because I think a lot of these reviews are actually just making fun of the movie and being ironic, or what's the word? Not ironic, but sardonic. Sardinic. I can't think of the word. I also just found it hilarious that somebody, so they put it in the title, and even the review itself says, "Me and my dear son Mohammed enjoyed watching this perfect family movie from beginning to the end." Like, why do they have to keep on mentioning their son? Like, their son's name? Like, is that really helpful to the review? That they tell us their son's name, Mohammed, which is apparently the most popular name in the world, but like not used at all in America?
I'm on Rotten Tomatoes. One guy very enthusiastically wrote, "Bashing your head against the wall would be more fun than the road chip."
Here's a good one. 10 out of 10. This cured my cancer. That's all I need to say. Best movie in the history of the Omniverse.
That guy really likes this movie.
Yeah, cured his cancer.
The Chipmunks don't make very good movies, but hey, at least they're cute. I think this guy makes a good point.
Most of IMDb is literally just people being sarcastic. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, on this movie. This one's another 10 out of 10, and it says life changing. And it says that the film was a monumental thing for me to observe. I would simply like to thank the creators for blessing my eyes and ears with this glorious piece of art. I have been blessed for the first time in my life. I feel complete. I am forever thankful and forever in your debt. In the famous words of Ian, there is no I in team, but there is an I in Alvin. What a great line. It helps encapsulate all the atrocities of the Armenian genocide that occurred a few decades ago. What?
Wow, that guy really went all out.
This is the kind of person that probably wrote this review instead of doing like their whatever homework assignment.
He thinks that that's the funniest thing he ever wrote. He shared that with his Reddit group. I guarantee it.
I guarantee this guy literally emailed his professor for whatever college he goes to say, "Hey, I need some more time with that essay I was assigned," and then wrote this review instead.
That's what sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. "Frankly, your children deserve better." That's the whole review.
What's this? What? This one says monk tail. What does that mean? Chipmunk tail?
I took my 3.5-year-old daughter to see this
kid movie in all caps.
It is made for
kids.
People chill out.
She adores the Chipmunks and she loved the movie. It was cute with some genuinely funny moments. There was great music and lots of hijinks. She spelled hijinks wrong.
She spelled it like these jinks are really high.
Yeah, like hijinks. The road trip aspect of it was fun. There was some dancing and language that was semi-inappropriate. It went right over my daughter's head. I was sad that David Cross didn't come back for the sequel. He was the best part of the previous installments.
I saw a review here on Rotten Tomatoes that also mentioned, says here, "The absence of long-standing series stalwart David Cross is a shame. Tony Hale can't quite fill the gap, but Jason Lee is back, making it business as usual." So apparently David Cross, I do know that he was in some of the movies, and I do remember hearing that he was actually pretty funny, even though he just did not enjoy being on set for any of the movies. I saw like a brief interview with him talking about, I just didn't know which one. I think he was talking about the last one he was on was Shipwrecked. And he was talking about just how awful it was being on that set. Like, in that, I need to find that interview for you, but I specifically remember watching him, and he said they wouldn't even let him out of his suit. Apparently, he was wearing like some sort of like thick, like maybe he was like a fur, like playing a character in a suit, and like even between takes, he was like, "Hey man, this is really hot. I want to get out of the suit." Like they wouldn't let him out, and he was just hot.
Imagine having David Cross on your film. David Cross, who I would say is pretty successful and pretty famous, more so than Jason Lee, if I had to choose.
Yeah,
between
probably.
the two. And you're treating this guy who is probably the only thing keeping your like Chipmunks franchise somewhat relevant at this point, because Jason Lee is slowly, or I shouldn't even say slowly, I should say very quickly losing any relevance he has, because he's only been in the Chipmunks movies in the last like 10, 12 years, right?
Right, because My Name is Earl, which catapulted him, to fame, was canceled. Thanks a lot, Jay Leno. I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah.
Before that, he was big in the indie scene with like the Kevin Smith movies, with like Mallrats,
Yeah.
and like Jane Silent Bob and stuff like that. But like after this, Jason Lee doesn't really, he does some voice acting, but he's not in a lot of things anymore.
So that's the thing. You literally have like a pretty famous and still successful person who continues to be in lots of projects and recognizable in those projects, because he's like one of the few fucking like bald like glasses guys in Hollywood that consistently gets roles.
You got Jason Alexander and David Cross.
Yeah, basically he's filling the gap that Jason Alexander left. Like he's the new like George from Seinfeld, but he's not like he's got so many more roles than that. So David Cross, this guy that could single-handedly still make Alvin and the Chipmunks relevant, and you're treating him like shit, and you're like keeping him in a warm suit or whatever, and you're not letting him take it off.
Take that with a grain of salt. I'm going based on my memory of an interview I saw of him several years ago, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I mean, also David Cross has this great way of just bringing charm out of anything. I mean, he was the best part of Arrested Development. If you took David Cross out of Arrested Development, more so than any of the other actors, the tone of that series would have changed drastically.
Let's not talk about Arrested Development. We know it's a great show.
I'm just saying, he's a great actor. Anyway, so unfortunately, David Cross will not be in this movie. That kind of bums me out.
I'll just imagine him every time I see David, or whatever his name, Jason Lee, not David. He's Dave in the movie, right? Jason Lee, but his character name is Dave.
Yeah, his character name is Dave.
Well, anyway, this one's really confusing, this review. It's a 1 out of 10, and the title is All These 1-Star Reviews Are Just Trolls and Tricky Tricksters. I mean, they gave it a 1 star. Like what? The whole review's like, they're talking up this movie so much. I love this movie. Let me tell you personally, it's 1,000 times better than Star Wars TFA. TFA? What does TFA stand for? The Star Wars TFA?
The Fast Edi. Wait, no.
What does Star Wars TFA stand for?
Star Wars The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. Of course, The Force Awakens is a great movie. However, it does not live up to my standards set by this masterpiece of a movie. This person has to be being sarcastic, but they just couldn't.
It's another troll review.
They just couldn't go all the way with leaving a 10 out of 10. They still gave it a 1 out of 10.
You might want to stick sharpened knitting needles in your ears.
Okay,
here's
wow.
one. I'm going to read off some quick ones. A sugar sweet, nutty kind of chip muck, but cinematic excrement all the same. Oh, here's a good one. Fun time at the movies with lots of color and music. Totally forgettable but enjoyable. Full review in Spanish. And here's a
full review in Spanish. Wait, is that actually in there? You just said that.
Yeah, no, it's in there.
How come everybody's like full review in Spanish?
A good movie for kids that adults can also enjoy. Full review in Spanish.
I'm just gonna start saying that after everything.
I'm just reading the reviews as I see them.
I know. But imagine just like real life. You're just having a conversation with somebody and then you say full review in Spanish.
A movie that kids would love and adults can watch without getting bored. Full review in Spanish.
That's a lie. All of those are lies.
Why are the Spanish critics loving this movie?
I mean, there's obviously some cultural, like, what's the word? Some miscommunication. Just, I don't know how to describe it. There's some cultural noise that like is making.
I don't understand anything that you're saying, but somehow I agree with you.
Yeah, cultural noise. Like, that's the best way to describe it. It's like, you can't quite understand what's happening in the movie because there's some kind of mistranslation.
Maybe I need to watch more Spanish soap operas.
Or just watch Casper the Friendly Ghost in Spanish.
I love Casper, the 90s movie with Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci. I will put that VHS tape in and fall asleep to it because James Horner did the soundtrack.
Okay, so this one, I'm going to read one. 1 out of 10. This one's a little bit ominous. You will die after you see this Alvin movie, Chipmunks. It's kind of like they're cursing me, but they also misspelled the movie, so I kind of feel like I'm okay. Oh wait, Alvin's misspelled too. It's Avlen.
Alvin, that's a good name.
Alvin.
Let's use that.
Alvin movie Chipmunks. It's a great movie. If you like movies, then this is the movie for you. Then it has everything a good movie needs. It is an outstanding movie. It is one of the best movie. You will enjoy this amazing movie. It's a big movie. It is the best 2006 movie in a movie. It's just a great movie. You will like this amazing, sweet, laugh out loud movie. This is a great movie. Very laugh movie. I choke on my popcorn watching this movie. You will die after you see this movie. Alvin and Chipmunks Roadkill. 1 out of 10. It's just, I can't tell if it was a real review or just like somebody just had it like a stroke while they were writing this.
This is this is interesting because this guy gives it a 3 out of 5, and this was on Christmas Day 2015. This guy wrote, delivers precisely what is expected to its fans. The super high quality of the animation, which places Alvin, Theodore, and Simon in the real world, remains a real highlight in these innocuous adventures. It really is an unrecognized art.
This guy got paid for this review. Like 100% he got paid by whoever made this movie.
They had to have. Right below that, this person wrote, sometimes I can almost hear the studio executives talking before a film gets the green light.
It's true. It's so true. Okay, this one is actually... Okay, I finally found one that's not sarcastic. Like it's an actual review. 1 out of 10, cinema at its lowest point. When the Chipmunks disguise squirrels as themselves with toys of them and the box says Alvin and the Chipmunks, the squeakle, I said to myself, this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I stepped outside of the auditorium and sat outside for a good 5 minutes, rethinking my entire life. I kept asking myself, why am I doing this to myself? Why is Jason Lee in this?
He wrote an entire essay.
I know, but it's so good. It's so good. Is he a masochist? Why couldn't he do another season of My Name is Earl? That was a pretty good show. How could he stoop this low? Why did he agree to this movie? Why am I watching this movie? Life can be cruel. This is life at its cruelest. Oh my god. Oh, then he starts talking about he talks about all of them. It's like a review of all of the Alvin and the Chipmunk movies. Okay, let me just skip ahead and see if I can...
While you're doing that, let me read this really quick one. The next time the Chipmunks make something together, I hope it's a fur coat. That's pretty good.
Okay, so I skipped to the end. I have nothing else to say about this movie. The Road Chip is the worst film I've ever experienced in my life. Nothing will compare. And then in parentheses, hopefully. It's a shame that people can get away with making trash like this. Go see anything else that doesn't involve anthropomorphic chipmunks. It's a shame he wrote so much. If he could have just like compressed this into a single paragraph, I feel like he had some really good points that would have been...
Well, any critic can compress their opinion into just a few words. I didn't like it.
Yeah. Well,
there you go.
The problem is he reviewed all 4 movies in this one review that was supposed to be just Road Chip. What was it called? Road Chip?
Road Chip. Road Chip.
Road Chip. Oh, here's another one. Cured all the cancer. Wow, this movie is curing cancer. After watching this masterpiece, I literally got visited by Chipmunk Jesus. And he told me they all equally got best heads, so I'm more than inclined to give this the score it rightfully deserves. What does that mean? He told me they all equally got best head. Like, they received a blowjob? And that cured his cancer?
Wait a minute. I think he's referring to the meme of the chipmunks getting head from the girl chipmunks.
Oh.
Who received the best head.
I'm not aware of that.
I will have to
That's
show
an
you.
actual
He's
thing?
literally referring to that meme. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's hilarious.
So is cured the cancer or whatever? Cured my cancer? Is that also a meme?
No, I think it's just well known that blowjobs cure cancer.
I should get more blowjobs. I don't have cancer, but it'll help if I,
It'll prevent.
It'll prevent it.
Yeah.
Blowjob a day keeps the cancer away, as they say.
I've heard that before.
I've heard it as well.
I've seen that on a poster in my doctor's office.
That's why I go and get blowjobs from my doctor every year.
What? Is that a new benefit they rolled out?
No.
Oh.
I get it for free because he loves me. Why did I say he? It could have been anyone. It could have been a woman doctor.
Yeah.
Why did I go he? I'm so sexist.
He? You are. Internalized misogyny, bro.
I know. It's not my fault. I've only had dude doctors for a while.
I've had women doctors for a long time.
I wish I had a woman doctor.
I wish I had healthcare.
You know what they say? Doctor is a woman. Actually, that's a song, and it's God is a woman.
I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, back to the podcast. I think we've read enough. I think there's
gotta be. I want to find one more really good review, like really good bad review. I want to end it on a
bad note.
On a bad note, yeah. Okay. This one's way too, like, I can't read this.
If you're looking for kid-friendly anthropomorphic animals, check out The Good Dinosaur.
They're recommending a different movie in their review?
You know what? More critics should do that.
They really should. Think about how much time it would save.
If you want to watch a movie of this genre or style, don't watch this movie. Watch this other movie.
Give us a better one.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to watch Shrek 2.
Don't watch Jack and Jill. Watch Citizen Kane.
Is that I don't think those movies are similar
I'm just saying you can use Citizen Kane for anything.
Don't watch Jack and Jill. Watch The Godfather.
Yeah, just any well-known, recognized.
Yeah.
Why are you watching Click when you could be watching Back to the Future?
Here's a good one. I just like this one because of the title. Not so fast, not so furious. It's not even related to Fast and the Furious. He just wanted to make like a furry pun.
We should make a film called Too Fast, Too Furry Ass.
Too furry ass and
yeah, it's about two furry.
Just
asses.
put your ass on the cover.
Yeah. But it's hairy.
I'll just skip to the end of this. Here's what you guys can do. Stop ruining childhoods. Is this movie really bad enough to ruin someone's childhood?
This movie can't be any worse than that one movie, Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I know kids movies are bad, but like, has there ever been a kids movie that like has ruined someone's childhood?
Nothing actually ruins a childhood like later. Like, you can't retroactively ruin a childhood. It's like when people talk about like remakes of movies or games from their childhood, like, childhood ruined. It's like, nah, bro, just don't watch it.
I feel like when you're a kid, you don't realize that something might be bad for you until you're an adult. So like, it's not necessarily ruining your childhood until you realize later that it ruined your childhood.
I didn't know my childhood was ruined until I went to college.
Yeah, exactly. And Marcus didn't realize his childhood was ruined. Well, he probably
knew the
did.
whole time.
Yeah, he probably.
He's the one person
he
who
had
knew,
to be aware of it.
He knew life sucked when he was born.
I think about what he did growing up and I'm like, how does this person get away with it?
This is very relevant to everyone listening to this podcast. Everyone in the world is like, oh yeah, Marcus. Yeah, that guy. That random guy who friended me on the internet.
Yeah, you know, if you're listening to this podcast, there's like a 90% chance that he will friend you on Facebook.
Yeah, he friends all of our mutual friends. He's friends with relatives of mine on Facebook that I'm not even friends with anymore.
He takes advantage of the fact that, you know, you see mutual friends and you assume that you know the person. And so he literally, he just keeps digging a hole through your mutual friends. He's just like...
he's got like over 1,400 friends right now.
He's a pyramid scheme with just himself. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. He's a pyramid scheme with no incentive. Like,
but it's not fraud or illegal because he doesn't make any money.
He makes no money off of it.
It's just a flat pyramid scheme.
He's like an AI that was programmed to make friends, but doesn't know the reason why.
I think he just described it like a cancer cell.
He's cancer.
Instead of multiplying, he's just spreading as far as he can into every corner of the internet.
I love how every conversation we have about Marcus is just eventually a roast of Marcus.
I don't think you can really describe him in any capacity that isn't a roast in itself. Sorry, Marcus, I love you. You're my best friend. I've
He's
known you for a long time.
not going to listen to this. He doesn't listen to any of these.
He'll get drunk and listen to some of it. He'll skip through it.
And then he'll forget it.
Yeah, but in this moment that he hears it while he's drunk right now, he'll appreciate me saying that I love him, that he's my best friend, and that I've known you for a long time.
Well, I don't feel the same as
He has inspired most of my comedy, like how I am as a person.
I was already funny, so I got nothing out of it.
I wasn't funny until I met Marcus.
I got a little bit more funny. He helped a little bit.
He helped a lot.
For you.
For everybody. He's just a funny guy.
Well, anyway, utterly terrible. This film is boring, uninventive, gives off a painful to watch vibe, suitable for 4 to 8, but no other age groups. Such a small minority of those who enjoy watching films films make me give it such a painful rating. Very boring, very bad. I'm just gonna end it with that. We'll watch the movie now. Uncle Ian is missing? What? What kind of title is this? Who's Uncle Ian?
I don't know who Uncle Ian is. He David Cross?
Oh, it's David Cross.
Oh.
He's Uncle Ian. Okay, I was like, are they doing like an Amber Alert kind of thing with their uncle on like a review website? Uncle Ian is missing?
I mean, who goes into a movie being like, oh yeah, the new David Cross movie's out.
The new David Cross
Alvin
movie.
and the Chipmunks.
Alvin and
Road
the
Trip.
Chipmunks.
And then just being so disappointed that the one person he wanted to see is
Uncle
not in it.
Ian is missing. I mean, obviously, if he's not in any of the trailers, you would know that he's missing. I wouldn't go and see this movie just because David Cross is in it. I would appreciate that he's in it after watching it.
No, I understand. I mean, I really wanted to see Waluigi in the new Mario movie, or maybe even Wario, but neither of them showed up.
That's all the reviews I found.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of them were sarcastic. Some of them cured cancer.
This movie cures cancer.
This movie cures cancer, so I guess
It's a good title.
all the scientists have just been looking in the wrong places for the cure.
Yep, they need to look at.
Alvin and the
Road
Chipmunks, Road Chip.
That's right.
Okay, let's get started on the movie, I guess.
All right, let's go eat a cupcake.
Okay. Say it'll be here. Say we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Okay.
Are we starting?
Yeah, we're starting.
So the new Ghostbusters was pretty good.
Stop.
I saw it opening
Stop it.
night.
Stop it. That's not what we're talking about.
Beetlejuice.
We're not talking about Beetlejuice either.
Beetlejuice.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it a third time.
Well, he just said it the third time.
No.
Specifically, all three of us have said that word once.
You said, I'm not going to talk about Beetlejuice, so you said it the third time by not saying you weren't going to say
Did
it.
I say I wasn't going to talk? I thought I just said I wasn't going to talk about it. I don't remember saying the movie.
You said the word Beetlejuice.
You said Beetlejuice.
Well, we'll find out in the post-production
We've
process.
definitely said Beetlejuice at least 3 times.
Okay, so we watched Alvin and the Chipmunks, the road chip.
And I immediately forgot everything that we saw.
I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it. There wasn't really much to say about it.
It was neutral.
It was very neutral.
There's nothing to say.
So we decided not to talk about it.
So we watched a different movie.
We watched a different movie. And we're going to be talking about that movie now.
It's called The
Chums in the House movie.
Basically, it was the Chumscrubber, an indie film from 2005. It was basically like Donnie Darko and American Beauty, like meshed into an indie film, like a lower budget indie film.
We should mention that CJ is here now. CJ wasn't here at the beginning of the podcast, but because we were so unmotivated to do a follow-up to the road chip, we kind of delayed doing this.
Yeah, that was a week ago.
Yeah, we watched it a week ago, so I know it doesn't seem like much time has passed for the listeners, but it was a week ago when we watched the road
So
chip.
CJ, this is the first time you've been on the podcast. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I've seen an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie once. I did not like it. So I did not watch Road Chip.
You did not watch the other 2 films they made leading up to the 4th movie, Road Chip?
You didn't miss much. I'm gonna be honest. It's the film.
We skipped 2 and 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like we did not watch. I've seen the first one a long time ago, and then we just jumped to the 4th one. We were on streaming. We were just on Max, and we were just like, oh, this looks like a bad movie. Let's do this for this episode.
It's the film equivalent of like.
It's too bad of a movie. There's nothing to talk about.
But there's nothing even entertaining to talk about in terms of badness. It's just very neutral. It's just the most forgettable movie I've ever seen in my life.
I was gonna say it's the film equivalent of like Tofu. Like if someone spent, well, what was the budget? 90 million. If someone spent $90 million on Tofu, that's what this movie would be.
Really like tofu. So
You would
but-
probably
Okay, but there's a
$90 million
reason.
maybe I should watch the
There,
Alvin
no.
and the
Okay, so I'm saying tofu, like just plain tofu. You're telling me you really like plain tofu, no seasoning, nothing?
Tastes like rubber and mushroom.
Yeah, I do. I like mushrooms
Okay.
I like rubber.
Okay, guys, we're gonna watch Alvin and the Chipmunk road trip with CJ this time.
And we'll be back in 30 minutes.
We'll be back in a little bit.
Bum, 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 bum.
No, we're not watching it again. I think that might be the one movie I will not subject myself to again.
Really? You would watch
movie.
Jack and Jill twice?
I would watch Jack and Jill again before I
my
watch this movie a second
God.
time.
I would just watch a compilation of all the best parts from Jack and Jill. It's 1 second long.
Is there more? Is there a follow up to that?
I just like that one scene in in Mr. Deeds when Steve Buscemi is like, "What the fuck? I thought we were watching Scooby Doo."
Oh yeah.
And that might be the funniest thing Adam Sandler has ever produced.
Okay, well, we literally said we weren't going to talk. We literally said we weren't going to talk about this movie because it was so not good, not bad, and now we're talking about the movie. Let's get back to the other film.
I feel like somehow we're always gonna get back onto Jack and Jill. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget.
I wasn't talking about Jack and Jill. I was talking about the Chipmunk movie.
I'm talking about Jack and Jill.
Trauma. We have to talk this one out.
I haven't processed that movie yet. I need to.
Okay, but the thing is, the more I remember Jack and Jill and the more time that has passed, the more I'm like, I wouldn't mind watching it again, even though I genuinely did not enjoy the experience, which I think that might just be the magic of Adam Sandler.
I can't be abused
Adam
more
Sandler
than one
does
time.
have a little magic in him,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
he's got a little magic.
You know what?
But the magic was lost in Jack and Jill. Not everyone else was kind of funny. He was the least funny part of the movie.
It doesn't
He
matter.
put it all into Steve Buscemi and 8 Crazy Nights.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's talk about the
Chumscrubber
Chumscrubber.
from 2005.
Which we literally heard about, found, and bought this movie today.
We were
and
at,
watched it.
Oh yeah, we were at the Loop in St. Louis. I was like, "Oh hey guys,
Quit doxing us.
I was like, hey guys, look, vintage vinyl. I haven't been in there forever. And I just immediately head towards the door. And they were like, wait, are we really doing this? What's going on? And
You
they
didn't
follow
just
me into
head
the
towards
store.
the door. You walked into a group of 10 or more people that were already walking
high
in,
school girls.
and you just started
was like
walking
high
in.
school.
They were in my way. They were just standing there. They saw me walk to the door, and then half of them went and stopped in the entrance. And I'm like, "Excuse me, I'm trying to get into the record store."
I wasn't part of this, by the way. I was distracted by some guys that were singing a song that kind of reminded me of Fall of Troy.
You said what, like Emery or something?
I thought it might have been Emery, but then I was like, it sounded more like Fall of Troy once I gave it a better
I don't
listen.
know any of those words
I don't either, but I recognized them.
because he said them earlier.
Well, some listeners are gonna be like, "Oh, right, Emery, Fall of Troy, oh, Righteous." Well, not like that because nobody listens to those bands would say Righteous. Well, I do, but I'm weird. But anyway,
I worked on this music video for a band called Foxing.
are we just plugging Foxing for no reason? Okay,
Just
they're not
go
paying
back to
for.
Chub.
We haven't gotten
Chub
paid.
Scummer.
I haven't even gotten to the part in Vintage Vinyl where I was like, wow, instead of looking at records, I went immediately to the DVD section. If anyone out there who knows me is if I could walk into any thrift store and as soon as there's a movie section, that's where I spend all my time. And we found Chumscrubber. And we do a web series called Chums in the House. You might have heard of it.
We might have mentioned it.
You might be on our YouTube channel right now. If you haven't subscribed, do that.
You might literally be Marcus
Leave
listening to
us
this
a like.
podcast right
This is just us in the future listening. That's all who.
Hey guys, I hope your future's better.
It's not. It's not. Hey Nick, how's it going? Yeah, I know it sucks.
Hey, future Cameron, you're hotter than ever.
Anyway,
CJ, the ointment's working. Don't stop.
Chumscrubber was only $6.
Wait, that's what I would tell to my past self. Wait.
And I thought the DVD was interesting because they had it was an indie film, but they had so many stars listed on it. It was Allison Janney, Glenn Close,
Sagittarius,
Ray Fiennes. It's just so many big stars for this indie film.
Wait a second.
Why was the DVD in a magnetic locked case and it was only $6?
It's valuable, but it's not.
Beetlejuice is a star.
That is an example of a star.
It wasn't a locked case, wasn't it?
Anyway, It was $6, and I go to check out, and the clerk at Vintage Vinyl like could not get it open. I was like, man, you guys really gotta make sure that those $6 DVDs don't get stolen. I mean, that was...
Hey, you know what they say? If you stop buying avocado toast, you can buy a house. So it's a similar concept.
They spent more money on the magnetic locks than they did that trade-in of that DVD.
They could have just kept the discs like in a binder
behind the counter.
Instead, they bought like 1,000 magnetic locks.
But why was that DVD a magnetic lock? Because on the other side, they had all the open rows of DVDs that were not locked up for like the same price or more.
I feel like I'm gonna cut out a lot of this.
No, this is good stuff. They're gonna find this really. Shout out to Vintage Vinyl. Anyway, Chumscrubbers.
We haven't gotten paid by any of these people, and we're already plugging like businesses and bands.
I just figured maybe one day they might be grateful.
I don't think if they're spending all that money on
down.
If they're spending money on like cases and stuff for like $6 films, like I don't think they have money to sponsor.
Maybe they'll sponsor us.
Vintage Vinyl.
No, not Vintage Vinyl. I'm talking about the company that makes magnetic lock cases.
Sponsored.
We're sponsored by Security Case. If you got DVDs that you know one's stolen,
yeah, let's just
brought to you by Chums in the House.
Let's just pick the most boring thing that we could ever pick.
The next commercial we do is for the Chums in the House lock to unlock the magnetic cases.
We're just like, yeah. Don't they call that horizontal integration in economics?
Do you say horizontal immigration?
Integration. Okay. Anyway, you guys talk about Chumscrubber for a bit, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
Okay.
And they shimmy under the wall, by the way.
Yeah. What does Chumscrubber mean? Like, you guys looked it up.
Oh no, horizontal immigration. It's when you shimmy under the wall.
Chumscrubber, you looked it up earlier.
Wait, is it like limbo, but like with going?
You're just horizontal. Yeah. And you're going from one country.
I'm just like imagining like Hermes from Futurama, just like doing limbo underneath a wall.
You're thinking of vertical integration. So Chumscrubber, you looked it up on Urban Dictionary. So what exactly does it mean to your understanding?
It's like a friend that cleans up the mess of your other friends. So if you're a Chumscrubber, it means that you're cleaning up someone else's vomit after they got drunk and passed out, something like that. And you're a good friend holding back their hair as they puke. You know, you're the Chumscrubber.
Like Cameron.
I've been a Chumscrubber at least 4 times in my life, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, that's just, I don't drink.
I was twice.
The fact that I found myself in situations where I had to be a Chumscrubber, like, that's 4 is a lot.
Can you be a Chumscrubber for yourself? Because in that case, I have been that many times.
No, I don't think that's how it works.
Oh, okay.
I can be your Chumscrubber.
I can be your Chumscrubber, baby. I can scrub away the vomit. I don't know the rest of the song.
He just says that for like 7
It's like, you can take my breath away. Something like that.
It's insane that like I have this vivid memory of a balloon dancing in a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, that did happen
song.
when you.
I know.
Oh, that was the song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always just think of like there's like some kind of scene where like there's like a shitty version of that song, and like somebody's carrying somebody else. Like, I can be your hero, baby.
Let's do that in the movie.
I don't want to, but
okay, never mind.
Okay.
Chumscrubber. The first half was weird. It really found itself later. Like, it got really interesting, but it's still never really. It's like almost a movie. Like, it needed some reshoots.
You know what? I just had a thought. You know how we watched that cartoon thing that you said was like they like put together a bunch of sketches and then made it into an episode?
Yeah.
This movie feels like they put together a bunch of sketches and then made it into a movie.
But the sketches weren't on their own very good.
That's the thing. It's like this. They weren't good, and they like somebody just was like, "Hey, we have a bunch of footage, and we don't really know what we're doing with it. What should we do?" And then they filmed the final scene of the movie, the big scene, and they're like, "Okay, we got to connect everything somehow."
It's like they filmed that first, and then like, we need to make sense of this.
They just weren't able to show any of the character motivations thoroughly in any of the build-up in the first half of the movie. I mean, honestly, the second half really started to take off. There were some good visuals. Like, I kind of understood like what the characters were doing, but everything beforehand where you're supposed to like show the audience, okay, this is what these characters want. Maybe have some mystery, but this movie laid out too much mystery, because if your audience is asking why am I watching this and what are these characters doing, who are they, what are they, that's too many questions. You can't unravel all the mystery in the second half of the movie. You got to answer some of that in the beginning.
It just got to a point where you didn't know what was going to happen because you didn't have enough invested into the movie. Where like at no point were you in, like, at least for me personally, at no point was I invested enough to actually be able to predict what was going to happen in the film.
I mean, in the very opening moment, which disclaimer, trigger warning, mental health stuff. So in the very opening, it like opens to shock value, and you're like, whoa. What just happened? So what happens is the main character is at a party, knocks on his friend's door, and his friend committed suicide. He
answered the door hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. He opened up the door, walked in,
and he was able to reach with his little toes and turn the knob.
He's in shock. He closes the door and just leaves, right? And then it's kind of confusing, but when it cuts to him, it's not really the next day. It's like a few days later. And
actually,
so
I would say probably like maybe even a week later.
It might have been about a week later. Yeah. I think the whole thing took place the weekend after. Yeah. So yeah, but it was kind of like, okay, this opened sort of like an Ari Aster film, and it wasn't quite as shocking or graphic as Hereditary or, Midsommar, but it was definitely like kicked off really strong, and so you're immediately like sympathetic to everyone, like, okay, so this guy was the main character's best friend, what's going on? So they start talking about like drugs. Before we get into that, Cameron wants to say something.
Okay, so I was not sympathetic at all to the dad. The dad fucking sucked the entire movie, and I hated him the entire movie.
Not the therapist?
The therapist.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to. No, you were. He was like the son.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. You said you were very sympathetic with everybody, and I'm like, I was not sympathetic at all.
Yeah, I meant like the main characters.
Okay.
Oh my god.
The adults were.
They spent $10 million and only made back $350,000.
Yeah.
Holy.
It was a $10 million budget.
Terrible movie.
They had a lot of stars in this for an indie film.
Yeah.
And like a lot of extras in some of the scenes. Like they had some like they spent
a Sundance movie too.
And it's just they were trying to like be like, okay, there's this whole plot, like dark comedy thing about drugs in high school, and none of the parents like know what's going on. Like they're completely oblivious. So you get into the Donnie Darko side, but then you also kind of get mixed in some of the other like American Beauty type themes. So it's kind of like you've got this Donnie Darko meets American Beauty like conflicts going on in there, but they were trying to do too much recreation of these two films. It was like clearly like these filmmakers were like, we love these movies. What if we did our own version of both of these movies combined? But then they added this Chumscrubber video game, which was unclear about like what the game, why it was there in the beginning and the end. They just had some confusing things in this movie. Overall, I thought it was impressive what they tried to do, but they didn't quite get there. I'm
gonna say my main problem with it was the pacing of the movie just seemed completely off. There are moments that just seem so out of place that they shouldn't be there, and it just feels like you don't know. If I kind of wasn't wondering when the movie was gonna get like good, I probably would have just gone and did something else and came back. Like this might be like a good kind of movie to have on while you're doing something else, and then once it starts to pick up, you'll kind of notice, obviously. But until that point, it's like, why am I watching this?
Yeah, the movie should have picked up a lot sooner. They should have cut out a lot of stuff from the beginning and just gotten like right to the interesting, quirky stuff later, because they had a lot of good stuff going for it.
I think one of the biggest mistakes they made was Ralph Fiennes or whatever.
Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, Voldemort.
His character, they tried to portray him as like normal in the beginning, and then it hits you out of nowhere. This guy's fucking like crazy and weird, and it's like
he's brain damaged.
They should have just had him be weird from the get-go, you know?
Yeah, I think this movie relied on trying to plant too many seeds in the beginning.
Seeds of development.
To open, to have, oh, quirky twist here, twist. When you rely too much, this is why M. Night Shyamalan caused a lot of problems in movies, because and has a lot of unintentionally negative influence, because I think after his early films like The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, it's like people started being like, oh wow, shock factor, twist, you gotta write for the twist. Like people try to put too many weird twists later in the movie. That was like, guys, just like slow down and like think about what movie you're making and answer some of these questions earlier on. We don't have to have that many twists.
Characters don't have to have, every single character in the movie doesn't have to have like a point during the movie where you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Like that's too many characters you have to care about.
I think they should have chosen one overarching theme, and just had everything kind of go to that, instead of all the different conflicting families and problems all representing like different aspects of society. There was too much.
I know way too much about every character in that movie. Like I know because they showed way too much, and it's like I would have liked to just know about maybe 5 or 6 of them, but I know about all the parents, I know about all the kids, and I know about the kid even that, I mean, well, he's obviously important because he was like what caused all the events to happen, like the kid who killed himself, but still, I knew too much about the mom of the with showing a cleavage to everybody. I knew way too much about her.
Why was she like being sexy around those teenagers?
That was another concern.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, what the fuck, Trinity? She's Trinity in The Matrix, by the way.
That was Carrie-Anne Moss.
She didn't even have to be in the movie.
I know.
No, not really. She was just sex appeal.
That wasn't necessary.
I did enjoy the boobs, the cleavage.
Everyone enjoys the boobs, Cameron.
The cleavage, as I said, after saying the boobs.
Anyway, he said boobs a lot. Anyway, it was good. 10 out of 10.
What?
Yeah, it was an indie film. I'm very forgiving. Those movies are hard to make.
You were though. He literally. We watched the bit of the credits, and he's like, "Oh, this is my favorite, like whatever music person,
composer."
Like,
they got James Horner, okay, and I will never be able to get James Horner because he died in a plane crash 10 years ago.
That's pretty cool.
That's also fake. That's fake news. He didn't actually die. He was replaced.
Oh, like Paul McCartney.
Paul died.
Elvis. You're thinking of Elvis.
Elvis. Are you sure I'm not thinking of Bruno Mars?
So
No.
Ghostbusters.
Jared Leto.
Hang on. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
No,
actually,
no. Shh. No.
I'm not making a joke. Actually handled the multiple protagonists and characters like way better.
How about you talk about a film that people have actually seen?
I'm promoting Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire.
We're not getting paid for this.
It's a plug. They might, one day sponsor.
A plug
us.
for who?
Just anybody who wants to give us money.
I feel like you're just simping for things you like.
I simp for Ghostbusters. I'm a ghost simp. Anyway, yeah, it's interesting.
Makes me feel good.
You haven't even seen the movie. You're just quoting that line because you saw the trailer for the movie.
No, it's not that. It's an actual, like, it's from the song from the original Ghostbusters movie.
What?
Yeah, no, the song, the Ghostbusters song, at some point the guy says, "Bustin' makes me feel good." That's a real lyric from the song. That's in the first movie.
Oh, that's why they say. I thought Paul Rudd was just like being funny. Like he was making just a
Paul
cum
Rudd's
joke.
reference. I can't believe you should know more about Ghostbusters.
Well, I don't know as much about the song because James Horner didn't make it. Full circle.
Well, anyway, why do you think I keep saying "bustin' makes me feel good"?
Because I feel like you keep telling me about your sexual fetishes.
I know, that's
like,
just really
you're
funny.
just-
Like, oh man, I love busting.
I mean, yes,
So
of
funny.
course I do, but I wouldn't say busting. I would say coming.
I would say busting.
I would say coming makes me feel
Straight
good.
busting, no kidding.
I think a Men in Black and Ghostbusters crossover would be pretty cool.
God, I love
X-Men.
Thank you for that,
Cheers.
CJ.
I was gonna say I love Men in Black, the animated show, but then I was like, wait a minute, I also like Men in Black, the movies. Also, I remembered they came out with a Men in Black movie that's not focused around agents J and K.
Yeah.
Which I just realized.
With
International?
Chris Hemsworth.
JK.
Yeah.
International is really
Chris
good.
Hemsworth.
I enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed every Men in Black, some better than others. I don't think any of them are
Even
bad.
the cartoon, yeah.
Yeah, they're all good. They're all good.
Truth.
Teenage Mutant
speaking
Ninja
of-
Turtles would be a good one to watch for this podcast.
What?
Which
like
one?
the original like TMNT
Oh yeah.
like live action. That would be a good one.
I like that movie though.
Quiet. little too quiet.
Is it bad? Is it badly reviewed?
I'm sure it has bad reviews. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
I was a dumb kid, so I guess it makes sense.
That's true. I can confirm.
You didn't even know me when I was a kid.
I don't need to. I just know you.
I wasn't dumb. I was just being humble.
We were literally 18 when we met.
Oh, yeah. We were 18 when we met. Oh, my God.
Well, when
we were not even an adult for an entire year yet when we met, when the three of us met.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, Bustin makes me feel good. It always has.
The Nintendo DS came out the same time that Chumscrubber came out.
Yeah.
You know how it's becoming so difficult for me to not just tell you to shut the fuck up.
Trivia from Nick Wildhouse.
Well, I only gauge time and history based on what years I had, what Nintendo console came
I'm having
out.
like an existential crisis, like thinking maybe I'm telling people to shut the fuck up too much because I'm getting the urge so often, and I don't know if it's just like maybe it's a personal problem.
It's because you used to hang out with Marcus a lot more, and he was your go-to shut the fuck up, and I'm filling that void. You're like, man, I got so used to telling someone to shut the fuck up. I gotta keep. I'm Jimmy, and man, if I don't say it to someone, I gotta.
It used to feel good to tell people to shut the fuck up, and now I just feel like what am I even doing anymore?
That's because I'm such a friendly person that I make you feel guilty because you know deep down that you don't want me to shut the fuck up. You actually think that I'm like a hilarious
I don't think
genius.
That's it, actually.
You think that I'm like this artistic genius?
I would never say that.
Who inspires you? I know, that's why I'm saying it for you, because I can read your mind. I wrote a screenplay that isn't perfect, but it writes you and Marcus pretty well.
That reminds me of remember what I told you the other night, where I was like, "Hey, I like to think I know when something is good or when something's bad." And this script,
hang on. Before you get to that, let me give them context.
Okay.
I was really depressed. I told him I was feeling really down and depressed last night, and we were talking about the screenplay for the movie we're gonna shoot this year, and this is what Cameron says to me.
I said, "Hey, you know me. I know when something's good and when something's not good, and this movie is okay."
I said, "Thanks, man. That's the nicest thing you ever said to me."
I mean, there's no guarantee. I can't say it's good until we make it. Like, that's the thing.
I was depressed, and he can't say, "Hey, man, you wrote a really good script." He was like, "It's okay."
Well, I did it more for the bit.
I know.
Did it more for the bit than.
Oh no, I know it was for the comedy. It was funny.
Yeah. Part of me was like, I want to tell him this is good, but also I really just want to dash his hopes.
But also, I don't really know if it's good. We haven't made the movie yet.
It's true. I don't. Okay, real talk. I don't know. I don't know until it happens, you know? I can't predict the future.
That's why we gotta let Marcus edit the whole movie.
I don't know if we should let Marcus do anything.
Oh no, we're gonna, after we edit it, we're gonna give all the footage to Marcus for the DVD release and have like a Marcus cut, so the movie's gonna look totally different.
Okay, we've definitely ranted more about things not related to the movie.
That's way more entertaining than just focusing on the movie, man.
Okay, there weren't any really funny moments in the movie, aside from the very end when he gets hit by the car.
Oh, I love that moment.
Oh yeah, I loved it when the crazy guy from Goku from Dragon Ball Evolution got hit by a car and stabbed.
Oh, have you guys seen the thing on the internet where they like take the scene where he slid his head on the top of a car? And it, squeaks. And so he just took the fight scene and then he inserted the squeaking head like sliding across the top of the car
over and over
like
again.
12 times at least
at different parts of the fight.
Anytime he does anything in the fight, he just randomly he's sliding his head across the top of the car again.
I've never watched that movie from start to finish. That would be a good one for this podcast.
Oh, Dragon Ball, what's
Evolution.
it called? Evolution.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it now.
This episode.
Let's do it.
All right, get out your phone. Let's look up reviews.
We're taking another break. No, we're not. I can't.
That'll be the next episode.
The next episode of our what has become a
Just
movie
really
only,
want, like, huge fucking tits to show up.
A movie only
I'll show you
podcast
tits.
at this point.
But they're mine. All right, so the name of this episode is "We're gonna do Dragon Ball Evolution next time."
It's your mine.
So
I don't want the episode to be like, "Hey, this is what the next episode's about."
I think that's the best way to title this.
I would rather just call it we watched the Chipmunks and another movie.
No. Don't tell anyone we watched another movie. Just advertise this
We watched
as
the
Road
Chipmunks.
Chip.
We watched the Chipmunks, just the Chipmunks, winky face.
Exactly. There you go. It might be a little on the nose, but
And we watched Road Chip.
Yeah, just put we watched Road Chip.
Winky face.
Road Chum.
Eggplant
Road Chum
emoji.
Scrub. Road Chips.
Peach wet emoji.
That makes me hard.
Yeah.
In the nipples.
Okay, let's get to the ratings. Since we did watch, I mean, me and Nick and I, actually, if I'm being grammatically correct, watched the Road Chip. So we're gonna give our rating for the Road Chip real quick. I'm gonna give it probably just 3 out of 10, honestly.
I give it 0 Kelvin.
0 Kelvin.
Yep, it doesn't move. It's neutral. Just not good enough.
I only gave it a 3 out of 10 because...
Okay, fine. 5 out of 10. Because there's nothing to talk about. I mean, there really is nothing to talk about.
It's not good, it's not bad, but it's still not...
Yeah.
The grilled chipmunks.
Okay, here's the thing. I know we said it's not good, it's not bad, it's not really something we want to talk about, but even then I don't want to give it a 5 out of 10 because that seems too good, you know? Like
No.
3 out of 10.
No, I'm just middle of the ground.
For the amount of money that got spent on this film, like I can't give it a 5 out of 10.
Anya Taylor-Joy, grilled chipmunk.
Oh, was she?
No.
I thought.
No.
Wait.
No.
Who did you say?
I said Anna Faris.
Anna Faris-Joy, girl chipmunk.
Anna Faris. I don't even know who the other ones are. I just remember Justin Long and Anna Faris.
Yeah, that's
Justin Long.
And Vin Diesel.
It's really good.
right. I am Groot.
Vin Diesel.
No, he wasn't. Can you imagine that? Vin Diesel was
Vin
one
Diesel
of the
was a
chipmunks.
chipmunk.
They took like the lowest voiced guy ever, and they were like, "Let's make you voice the chipmunks."
God.
I think 5 out of 10 is low enough and high enough.
Let's imagine like James Earl Jones as a chipmunk.
James Earl Jones. You know how much better the Chipmunk movies would be if they just got the lowest voiced people to voice the Chipmunks?
I am your father.
Scarlett Johansson as one of the Chipettes because she's like one of the lower voiced like actresses in Hollywood.
And Seth Rogen can be
Seth
the
Rogen.
CJ did not watch Road Chip, but what would you give it?
If they had Seth Rogen and
It did not. It did not have.
What
Seth
if
Rogen.
James
Donkey
Earl
Kong?
Jones.
What if Donkey Kong just randomly showed up with Seth Rogen's face? in the
Tommy
Chipmunk movie?
Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones
Tommy Lee Jones.
Jones.
from Men in Black.
Yeah. What if Tommy Lee Jones was the dad in Alvin and the Chipmunks?
That would have been pretty funny.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, because Jason Lee really seemed to phone it in this movie.
Dude, Jason
He was
Lee.
just like,
He was getting
all right,
married.
I'm ready for a kids movie.
He was getting married in this movie, but like he was just only ever aggravated and yelling Alvin.
That's what what he just has.
Jason
the hair.
Lee just showed up for the
He just goes
paycheck.
hair up.
He's like, I got the role. I'm pretty
Like,
safe in this
he just-
job.
he's, like,
I'm just gonna
bug-eyed in all
show
the
up at this
shots.
point.
Just like mad that thing.
He's like the substitute teacher in high school. It's just he just showed up and he didn't feel the need to
Look,
do much.
I had some cool substitute teachers, and I had some that tried way harder than they should have.
I prefer Dom teachers.
You say dom teachers like dominatrix
Domstitute.
or
Just the opposite of subs.
okay, whatever.
Anyway, rating for Chumscrubbers.
It's the Chumscrubber. It's not the Chumscrubber.
I know, and we had this reverse conversation literally when you were telling
You're
your
the one
mom
that
about it.
I learned it from watching you.
You said Chumscrubbers, and then I corrected you.
I learned it from watching you.
I like calling it Chubscrubbers.
Chubscrubbers.
Chub scrubbers. I think that's what the young
feels
kids
better.
call jerking off.
Oh my god, Chumscrubber. That's what Will Smith's character is in a fish tail, shark tail.
Let's just give our ratings.
He's a Chumscrubber.
Let's just get our ratings.
My rating,
Shark Tail?
yeah, is
Shark
okay. My rating for the Chumscrubber is 10 out of 10 because James Horner was the composer.
What a simp.
Is who's Will Ferrell in Shark Tail?
Will Smith
Will Smith.
Oh.
and Jack Black.
So in Shark Tale,
Like a 7 out of 10 for Chumscrubbers.
so in Shark Tale, Will Smith shows up to the award show.
I know who Will
and he
Smith
says, "Keep my wife's name out of your motherfucking mouth." And then he slaps Chris Tucker, who also was in
Damn
Shark's
mouth.
Tale.
He said, "Damn mouth. Keep my wife's name out your damn."
Oh, I thought you said motherfucking mouth.
Out your fucking mouth. That's what it was. It was fucking
Oh,
mouth.
we were both wrong.
Yeah, it was fucking
Okay, well I give Chum Suckers
It's the Chum Sucker. It's the chum fucker.
It's the suck chummer.
It's the suck my chummy chum.
I give Switchblade.
You give it how many switchblades?
No, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10
7 out of 10.
stabs in the little boy's
It's an indie film, so it deserves some forgiveness.
Yeah, it deserves some forgiveness, and I like the ending enough that
It
I
did
actually
kind-
can kind of forgive.
it did
a lot.
really work
I
at
thought
the
the
very
third
end.
act was really well done.
Big Bang.
It
So
was.
what's the is
Big
it a
Bang
show or a movie where like is it Adam Scott? They're talking about the great whatever. It's some kind of like real estate event or something.
The Big Short.
Oh,
No, and at the
you're
end-
talking about Step Brothers.
Is it
Yeah,
Between
Step
Will Ferrell
The
and John C.
Great
Reilly.
Wine Regional or something
it's
like
the
that?
it's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Catalina wine mixer.
The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
That's literally the third act. Is just it's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. So if you,
Except, imagine that. Except it's a funeral and a wedding, like across the street
and
from
a
each other.
psychotic child dies,
No,
think?
he's alive.
No, he's alive. He goes to prison at the
Remember?
end. Remember they show.
Oh yeah.
No,
he has an iPad.
Maybe he
No.
died and they brought him back.
This
and
guy
they
is
showed that.
psychotic, like the bully from It, like from the movie It. Like he reminds me of that level of
I
psychotic.
just remembered something about the Chumscrubbers. The
It's called the Chumscrubber.
Yeah, the Chumscrubber that I want to mention. What really pissed me off was when the dad came into the bully's room, and it seemed like we were gonna see like, oh, he's being abused kind of thing, and that's why he's such a shitty person.
Yeah, he was like, "Here, come here, boy," and then the scene ends
The scene
as
ends.
they walk out of the room.
They don't show anything after. You don't know
like,
what the fuck.
you don't even see that dad ever.
I didn't
right?
even like. I did not get until you saw anything that they were trying to imply that he was being abused. I did not see that. Like they could have shown him like taking off his belt as he left the room.
I don't know if that
You know?
was technically implied. I think
Any kind of
he
sound
could have
effect.
just said,
But
like,
why
hey,
else would he
fix
say,
this?
"Come with me"? You know,
Yeah.
because
Because
you're
they're
in
gonna
trouble.
Because they're
right?
gonna go get the putty to fix the wall.
That's what I thought. He
Yeah.
was like, "You gotta fix the wall." The guy's like, "No." He's like, "Come with me." I'm like, "Okay, I guess he's gonna go get some putty and fix
Yeah,
the wall."
I guess
but
my
the
dad
camera's
is gonna
like,
show me how to do it.
Is he gonna like abuse him? Like what?
Okay, but here's the thing. Usually, when you have a character like this that's so shitty to everyone around them,
Right,
it's
it
because there's
expla-
trouble at
Right.
home.
Yes, exactly. But there were moments like that where they didn't show enough background in areas we needed to understand.
Yeah.
They gave us bullshit background on things that didn't matter.
Yeah.
With so many characters.
Like how the sheriff is stalking the mayor marrying the
Oh,
sheriff's
I would-
ex-wife, and there's
I-
just a ton of tickets in the
I would like to mention that they could have just had, okay, so you know how the first interaction you see with the sheriff is the mayor being like, hey, come on, just move on, you know, we're getting married and we love each other, just move on, stop giving us such a, you know, bad whatever, just stop giving him tickets or something.
Yes.
God damn it, CJ.
I'm sorry.
I enjoy those parts of the podcast. It makes me feel like I'm in the same room with a couple of buddies, opening up some brewskis, except for you because you don't drink.
Yeah, when in reality, we're actually all three of us in entirely different places around the world.
Hey guys, how are things going on in China and in India?
I live in China.
And I live in India.
I live in Cameron's house.
I'm sorry. I thought I was gonna like follow. Like usually I could come up with something clever, but like it just stopped. And I live in. I couldn't think of anything.
I was wondering why you were laughing. I'm like, what's so funny about living in China?
I'm just
I mean,
disappointed in myself that I
Ni
couldn't.
hao.
There's nothing wrong with, well, there's a couple things wrong. Well, I'm not going to go into that.
There's nothing wrong with China. Well, there's a few things wrong
I like
with China.
Jackie Chan.
I've seen, he's great in all the movies that I've seen him in.
He's great in Kung Fu.
You guys,
Rush Hour 2.
we're supposed to not talk about Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
Ah man, name 5 things that aren't Jackie Chan.
Egg salad, dirty laundry, Jackie Chan.
Ah! All right.
So,
What time is it? We've been doing this for a long time.
We've been doing it more than the first half took. So.
Oh, good, because this is the better half.
Yeah. Okay, so I was gonna say something.
it was really cool that the kid, it was cool the kid got stabbed, but I didn't think they were actually going to stab the kid. I'll say that.
Yeah, that was
Did.
cool.
Oh,
They
yeah,
did.
Yeah, I like stabbing kids.
He was like,
That pretty
you
fun.
got me in the stomach. Did it go? And you're like, he barely got him.
But he actually stabbed the kid in the
He
thigh.
stabbed him, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
actually there.
Yeah, and he's like, let go of the knife, let go of the knife. Instead of punching the kid in the face, the kid that you're trying to kill, he's just like, let go of the knife.
Yeah. But then the kid grabs it and slashes the bully's eye. That was pretty
that was so
awesome.
Okay, I remember what I was gonna say. So the first time you see the sheriff, you know, the mayor's like, hey, stop giving me so many tickets, and you see a bunch of tickets and stuff. I think it would have been so much better if the first time you saw him was when the ex-wife comes out and she yells at him and then he acts like,
there was a lot more things they could have done than just her trying on a dress. It was really
that
boring.
Scene was so dumb.
And they cut it in half. They cut it in half to show the kids at school, and then they go back to that scene like no time passed at all.
Yeah.
It was weird. There are some weird editing choices.
I feel like somebody just tried something different and then they forgot to change it before they just exported.
They accidentally hit Control Z just before they exported. They're like, shit, we don't have enough time. We gotta get this.
It's like, they're expecting this movie now. It's like, but this is kind of the bad cut. It's like, well, let's do it.
They're like, hey guys, give us just a few more days. It's almost done. And the studio's like, we need it right now.
We need it right now. It's like, but this is the wrong cut.
And it does kind of feel like, especially in the first half, they used the wrong take, you know?
Yeah,
like
actually, like thinking about how things look when you're editing, it does kind of feel like half finished. Yeah.
But no, seriously, James Horner, he look him up. He's a great composer. He did Jumanji 96. He did the live action Casper with Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci. He did James Cameron's Avatar. That's a good one.
That's it for the podcast. Thanks for listening to the Papa Podcast, and we hope you enjoyed everything. And
I'm Nick Wildhouse. This is Cameron, whose last name shall not be mentioned.
I was named after a character from the Children of the Corn.
Corn.
Thanks. Come back. Come all over the PP.
CJ, right? That's his name. That's CJ.
Yeah, Krujai.
And I was named after the corn in The Children of the Corn.
And his Telker toes.
God, fuck you.
Quit doc.